This short video will give a brief overview of essential standards, priority standards, and proficiency scales. Essential standards are not a new construct. According to Richard DeFore's research group from 2010, essential standards are the learning standards that are most essential because they possess qualities of endurance, leverage, and readiness for success at the next level. These are the standards that you are guaranteeing all students will know and be able to do by the end of the year. These are the standards you will write your common formative assessments around. Each department, kindergarten through 12th grade, selected the essential standards of their work in May of 2020, and your department chair will be able to point you toward this work. The working definition of an essential standard is very similar to the terms priority standard or power standard. For our work in Grandview, priority standards are a carefully selected subset of the total list of the grade-specific and course-specific standards within each content area that are so important that students' progress in learning them should be measured and reported. All essential standards are a priority standard, but not all priority standards are essential. There may be fewer standards deemed essential than are reported. Here is an example of an essential standard from our K-12 vertically aligned standards document. You can see it is a thicker blue font than this standard. The regular blue font is a priority standard. This regular black font is a supporting standard that is taught in support of a priority or essential standard, but is not reported. Once a department's curriculum has been reviewed and updated in the rigorous design model, you will find these standards marked in the same format on each department's unit guides. A proficiency scale is a table used by teachers and students to determine the student's current level of progress toward meeting the standard. Proficiency scales indicate student achievement as it relates to a priority standard and use a 4-point system where a score of 3 indicates proficiency of a standard. In other words, a student receiving a score of 3 is meeting the entirety of a standard. In addition to meeting the standard, a student can demonstrate applications that go beyond what was taught in class. The score of 4 is reserved for occasions where the student has gone above and beyond to demonstrate mastery of the skill. Approaching expectation indicates that the student has gained an understanding of the academic vocabulary needed for that standard and some or most of the simpler processes of the standard. This level is indicated with a score of 2. At emerging expectation, the student can achieve partial success with the vocabulary and the simpler processes involved in the standard with help from the teacher or another classroom-provided support. A score of 1 indicates the student is emerging in this standard. Once proficiency scales for all priority standards are written and agreed upon by the department, our teachers will also create student-friendly proficiency scales so students can visually see the learning progression for each skill. Proficiency scales improve student learning by giving teachers, students, and parents timely feedback that is accurate, gives students a clear picture of what they have learned, and identifies the next step in their learning. Consistent. Every student has the same expectation and learning outcomes to demonstrate proficiency for their grade or course. Meaningful. The feedback on each skill is specific to that learning outcome. This is a direct correlation to the expectations of the proficiency scales assessed each quarter or semester. And supportive of learning. The goal is to capture a clear picture of what students are able to do and where they still need support to succeed. Therefore, every child will be receiving instruction based upon their individual needs. Furthermore, proficiency scales articulate learning progressions and can inform how teachers plan lessons and assessments. Teachers can consider 3 types of lessons when using a proficiency scale to plan instruction. 1. Direct instruction lessons. 2. Practicing and deepening lessons. And 3. Knowledge application lessons. Let's listen in on teachers from Pasco County, Florida, as they explain in their own words the purpose for using proficiency scales.
I think that one of the biggest benefits is that it serves both the students and the teacher in a really convenient way. One of the big focuses right now in education is like the metacognitive process and getting kids to think about what they're learning and how they know what they're actually learning is correct. And when you use the scales in the classroom, it gives them the opportunity to take a step back and to go, okay, I can do this and I can do this, but that's not enough. I need to be able to do this as well. Or, yes, I've got it.
In my experience, the benefits for me, excuse me, as a teacher, it keeps me more accountable with the staying on top of every day and what the kids need. So when I come up with a question at the beginning of the day for the lesson, it makes me make sure that I'm on the right track and I'm not going off.
It keeps me on track. Sometimes I want to teach something that I just really like, and it's not really pertaining to the standard. It's just, I think it's a great activity. And I have to remember, what am I doing to work towards that level 3? If my activity has nothing to do with it, then why am I bothering to really do it? If I have leftover time, absolutely.
Well, I think for my students, what they would probably say is that they can give me feedback on how I'm teaching, if I'm going too fast, if I've just plowed over the material. And I think for them, it gives them direction back to the teacher. And it gives them a voice in the classroom. It's not just, okay, I'm going to sit here and do nothing. It gives them a voice. The one that's not comfortable asking questions has that voice on that paper.
So they know that I'm monitoring their skills every single day, and there's not a slack day. They have to be able to use whatever it is. And if I see that there's a constant pattern, then I make sure that I go over to the kids and say, hey, you're still not getting this, and we're going through and I'm showing you. So it helps me stay on top of them versus I give them the test and I have to go back and reteach it, and it's been so much time. It's a daily, do I need to reteach this?
That is another piece, that if I'm doing a formative assessment, using the scales as a formative, when I come to their summative, I know that they're okay. I know that they're going to master it.
And it's kind of positive reinforcement in its own way as well, because whether they're writing it down because they know that they're going to get better and it gives them a confidence boost, or they actually look back at their work and they see how they've grown, it tracks that for them and it gives them the reassurance that they're doing something right in class. So it's not just, I keep doing these assignments and I have no idea what's going on and I feel like I'm just swimming in this sea of uncertainty. They can see their progress, and I think that that's important.
Probably the biggest one is just its pacing. It's pacing it out. Like, you start out just with a little problem, and then you get maybe another one, and then two of them together in a word problem, and you see how these topics relate to what you're going to actually see on a test, and then putting it together slowly, as opposed to just dropping.
So how does this help us?
It helps us because it gives us a key target of where we need to get our students. And it's easy to kind of see all these friends are threes, they're okay. But it really looks to see who do we need to remediate and who do we need to enrich.